Hello, I'm Alex McClay here in the Mad River Valley Television studios with artist Judy Dodds, who has a retrospective next door to us at the Valley Arts Festival, currently on through December 30th. And it is an amazing show. I've seen it. I've been in several times. I hope everyone will get a chance to go watch it, go look at it. And actually, at the end of our little conversation here, there's a video that Jim, Judy's husband, made, which is, again, a compilation of her long, long artistic career and the many different installations and pieces she's done for our venues around the valley,
right? And around
the state, the country,
and
yeah. And so you have had the most. First of all, you work in many mediums, right? What is currently the show is both your rug hooking and your what I call silk screening.
Well,
fabric.
No, silk screening. It's more applique.
Okay.
Applique stitchery.
Fabric work.
Fabric,
right.
like painting with fabric.
Well, there's one of the pieces says stained glass.
Stained glass. Well, that's a whole technique that I can tell you about.
Right, it isn't glass, it's fabric, right?
No, it's fabric.
It's beautiful.
And actually, the video does show a part of the piece that big commission I did for the Sugarbush Sports Center.
Oh, the Sports Center.
The Sports Center. It is not up there now. I don't know why, but maybe it's, well, that would
Maybe
be
it got
many
dusty.
years. It probably got, but it was ripstop nylon.
Yeah. Oh.
And if anyone has ever tried to sew on ripstop
Oh, yes,
nylon,
I've made flags
it
before,
is,
and
flag
it
is it
slips
is
all
not
over the
easy.
place.
And this
yeah.
was a very large piece. So there's the video has a whole section of that, and I explain how I did it. And it is a technique that I kind of invented, really.
Well, you have had so many different types of materials,
Right.
mediums that you've
Right.
worked in. There's the whole rug hooking phase.
Well,
as well.
that's what I'm doing now.
What did you
I don't
start
feel that's
with?
important.
Okay.
Okay. What did I start with? Gosh, I started actually with patchwork and a patchwork kit. I don't know if you remember, but right here in the next
tulip
door.
tree? Oh,
tulip
yes,
tree,
you had that
my
for how
shop.
many years? I do.
I had that for 30 years.
Well, I wasn't much of a stitcher.
No,
I was a glue gunner instead of a.
But I started actually when I was at the Children's Museum in Boston, and we were doing patchwork. We were doing all kind of crafts.
You were a curator there,
I was
right?
curator. Yes, I was curator of.
For how long there in
I was
Boston?
there for 3 years, but and before that I had been the curator of the Louisiana State Museum in New Orleans for
Right.
15 years. So I've been in and out of museums.
What brought you to Vermont? That's what always I ask people.
well, all right.
I want to know how they got here.
That's a long story.
Oh, well, the brief version.
The brief version, back in the 60s, because I have to say that I have just reached 89.
Oh my God! You can't.
I just had a birthday a week ago.
That's
It
not
is true. It is true.
Oh my gosh!
It is true. I just
Well, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
89. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh!
I'm going to have a big party. next year.
I was going to say,
Yeah, right.
and
But-
an even more retrospective.
Well, I think I don't know if the gallery, next door,
Right.
really thought about that. But,
Right.
But I know that Gary and
Well, who was the one you had mentioned earlier? That Peggy Potter was the one who
Peggy
said, "You've got to
Potter.
do this."
Yes, because Peggy's been a friend of mine for a long time, and she said something about that I should because I had a lot of work. I had like 30 years
Of work.
and that's what Jim's video is about. This is 30 years. But what brought me to Vermont? I'm
Yes.
going to go back to that.
Okay, good.
I was married before Jim to a sculptor and painter in New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans.
I was going to say
I am a New Orleans girl.
you don't even know that
I
until
know.
you say the word
Yes,
New Orleans, and then
yes.
you realize
I am.
you
I
are.
am. And I grew up from a family of artists and people that always did things with their hands. My mother was a fabulous sewer. She could sew anything. My aunt was the art director of the Little Theater in New Orleans.
Oh, my
so I
goodness.
grew up around costumes and theater.
Right, making
so,
things.
So it was only natural that after I graduated, from Newcomb College, which is part of Tulane now,
Tulane, yeah.
the art school, that I would do that. But meanwhile, when I was only 19, I met artist from New York. And he'd come down to see his family, who was living in his mother and father, living in New Orleans. And we hit it off. I was moving to New York.
Before that.
Yeah, right.
I see.
And so
but that probably accelerated.
So a year or so later, we got married.
That accelerated it, right?
And those were the days, back in the 60s, 50s and 60s, when you got married early.
Yes.
So Gene Seidenberg was his name, and is his name. And so I was married to him for 22 years, and also was curator of the State Museum for 15 of those years. So I had a lot of museum experience too. But at the same time, I was always doing crafts.
Your own work.
I was always doing crafts.
And you call it, I mean,
yeah.
Crafts, I know some people call crafts.
Now I call it, no, it's much more than
it's
crafts.
art.
It's art.
It's art.
It's definitely
it happens
art.
to be fabric, and it happens to be...
it just happened. Yeah, and so to get, I don't know, we're kind of getting off on that.
Yes.
But to get back
to how you ended up in Vermont.
Yeah, so Gene, my ex-husband, said, why don't we spend the summer in Vermont? Because he was from New York City, and actually we had lived in New York City for a little while and then moved back to New Orleans. And I said, Vermont? Where is that?
Yeah, what state is that in?
Yeah,
that's what people say. What state is that in?
So he said, well, I went up there, when I was just a kid, and I loved it. And he said, let's look into it. So at that time we had 2 small children, like 5 and 10. And so we looked at it. This is like 1961 or something.
Oh,
we looked at this. The valley was just getting started. Yes, it was actually closer to the 70s, I think. And we found this booklet called Cottages and Camps for Rent.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so we rented a house in Warren.
Was it a cottage or a camp?
It was really a nice old house. And we arrived there, it was like for 3 months, I think the whole summer, it was $350.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine that?
I know. No, that's what it is a week.
So we drive up to Vermont with 2 kids in the car and a dog, and we run, it was in Warren. On
Main Street there,
up the road.
Okay.
Going,
Brook Road.
Yes, up that. And so we go into this nice old Victorian house, and there's nothing. First of all, the dog goes crazy because on the stove is a muskrat or something.
Oh my God!
Yeah, some kind of a animal.
Muskrat, right?
What is it? A skunk?
Okay.
So the dog chases that.
This is summertime.
This is summertime. This is June, but it's cold.
I bet. Yeah.
And
June.
there's nothing but bunk beds and.
That was the camp part.
That was the camp part. Well, anyway, I'm gonna make this very short.
So you came and loved it.
So yes, within 2 weeks, I was so in love with Vermont.
I get it.
And then we came back every summer till we were divorced, which was another 6 or 7 years. And then I moved to the Children's Museum in Boston, and then it was just natural that I would come up here and buy a house.
Right.
And that's what I did.
And you've been here ever since?
And that was in 73. Yeah, and then I met my second husband. My first one, we were divorced. And then I met Jim a couple of years after that. So, but meanwhile, I had opened Tulip Tree.
I do remember that very, very well.
So I opened that in...
and it's where the Valley Arts is now.
And that's where Valley Arts is.
Ironic.
So that makes it, it's a whole kind of a
Full
never-ending
circle. Full circle. You've come full circle, yes.
And so it was so interesting to see my work in that space.
I bet.
Where it
and it's beautiful. People really have to go check out this exhibit.
Well,
it is wonderful.
Yeah, and I am not doing these big wall hangings like are there anymore.
Well, the most beautiful one for me.
Which one do you like?
I love the Japanese. The
Japanese influence. I was very influenced by the Japanese.
I grew up in Southern California, and my parents had some Oriental screens and art, and there were all sorts of Southern California had some Oriental influence to it. It was very.
I'm very influenced by that. I was very.
So I very much.
Which piece did you like?
The one that's in the window of the Valley.
That one.
Yes.
Oh, that's
I love that. It reminds me of Hiroshige. which you
Yeah.
know my parents had a few of,
Yeah.
and which is just I love the blue, the colors. If
Well,
it's in it.
you're not talking
The one in the window. It's
the
facing
side
up.
window.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but that is a Japanese
Oh,
thing.
that's why I like
You
it.
better like one other one.
Yeah, I do like the ones inside too. I just
No.
so that's the
But
influence part.
That's the
Okay.
influence, and that was I was trying to show Japanese
I
influences
got it.
by
Okay.
doing that. No, it's very hard to put anything in the windows over there because they fade.
Oh, you're right.
I knew
Yes,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Well, but you also have the one that sort of looks like
Yes.
Fukushima inside.
yes, the one when you come in the door.
Yeah, that
and
big
it's
one I
on the
love
wall.
too.
Yeah,
That's
right.
beautiful.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I got into doing these 3 panels,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I developed that stained glass technique,
Oh.
which shows in the video.
Mm-hmm.
I would make a drawing on muslin,
Mm-hmm.
plain muslin, and just
Cut it
lines,
out?
like Japanese
Mm-hmm.
mountains and stuff. And then I would cut out all of these transparent fabrics, cottons mostly, and
Right.
and sometimes
and layers.
and layers, and and prints. You maybe see some prints.
Right,
in it.
right.
All right, and then I would stitch them with a satin stitch on the sewing machine,
Oh wow.
and then came the work. Turn that over and take tiny little
Scissors and cut it out.
tiny little like you would use on your
I would never have
and
the patience.
cut it. Yeah, I would. I don't have the. I wouldn't have the patience now. For
Lordy,
sure,
lordy,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So that gives them a
It
transparent.
does. Well, yeah, like you say,
and
stained
then
glass.
you could cut. You could, since they were layers of when I say transparent, I mean
Fabric you could see through.
fabric you could see through.
Right.
And I would take
Translucent.
translucent.
That's
well,
the
no,
word.
no,
No?
Well, anyway,
Whatever the word
we
is.
we don't care.
Yeah.
But so then I would cut them, from the back, and you could cut away whatever layers you want.
Right,
Sometimes there
right.
were 2 layers, and if you go and look in the
I'm going to look more carefully now
more
because
carefully, you can turn it.
Right.
You can turn it over. You can see where I have left things. So then, when I started doing those, I got a lot of architectural commissions.
Oh, I bet.
And so I have a big architectural commission down in Boston
Mm-hmm.
area, but that was an applique thing. But it's in the video.
Yes,
It's in
which
the
is
video, so
marvelous.
you'll
And
see.
Jim
So-
did that whole thing. The
Jim-
YouTube. It's
Jim
going to
is
follow our
marvelous.
show,
Jim
and
is-
it's also available online.
Right, right,
So it's just
right.
a marvelous piece of work that
thank you.
documented your
Well,
whole.
he I didn't even know it, and all of a sudden there's the story of my life.
Yes.
and so,
Well, selected pieces.
So I married well.
You did. You did. Married a man of talent who
Right. He
enjoys.
is, and I think he should really make that as a career. because-
Well, he
he
obviously
does do that,
enjoys
yeah.
showcasing your talents with
Right,
his
right,
talents, and that's
right.
a
Yeah,
wonderful
it
combination.
is.
You're very
and,
lucky.
And we've only been married about 42, 43,
Oh, that's
44 years.
just a little speck of time.
Right.
Well, anyway, thank you
So-
for coming in.
well, thank
Is there
you.
anything so last minute before people might listen to or watch the video or come see the show? Is there anything you want to leave them
it
with? Mm-hmm.
will be at the gallery for another month. It's been there for 2 or 3 months now,
Mm-hmm.
and I really, thank Gary and
Dottie,
Dottie
is that
and
the-
all,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the Valley Arts is a
and-
great
and-
organization.
Right, it is, and it serves our community. It
Right.
serves the artists in the community.
We'll put a little plug in for
Yeah,
them.
we'll put
Do
in
join.
for
They
the
need
gallery.
membership
Yes,
to keep
yes.
this
And-
art free
yeah,
and
right.
all these events.
And also, I think that they could use volunteers too.
Oh,
like
wonderful.
every
Yeah, docents, people to
docents
sit in the
sit,
gallery,
yeah,
whatever.
Right, keep it open. But anyway, yes, they're doing a great job.
And
I
they
was
have
very
great
pleased. I have
artists
to-
to-
and I also have to say I have to thank Peggy Potter because it was her idea all along
Wow.
to have the show, and so the show it's all so nice together that I don't know. We're talking about possibly
Some other places.
going to some other places.
Right, maybe further from Montpelier or
Montpelier,
Burlington.
to Stowe, to the
Yeah,
bigger
we get people
galleries
down
are-
here, and particularly coming into
Right.
this Christmas
Right.
season. I think.
Well,
people
this will run through the first of the year.
Okay.
And then I don't know. Peggy and I can talk about it.
Good.
You know.
Well, make sure you see it, people.
Yes.
It is gorgeous.
And
It
it's
is-
free.
It's free, and it shows the incredible breadth of Judy's career. The rug hooking is wonderful.
Now I'm doing rug hooking. About
Okay.
10 years ago, I got into rug hooking.
Well, you and Jim made a wonderful video about that.
Yes, we did.
You know.
We made. That's how we got into it. Actually, we made a video. It's about a 40-minute video.
Yeah, we still have it.
You do?
Yes, we have
Okay,
copies
play-
of it.
play
It wasn't one of the ones
play
that
it sometime.
I will. It
Because
wasn't one of the
there's
ones
a lot
that
of people in the valley here. You know, I started a group.
Right, the rug hookers, right.
And the group, we meet every Saturday.
the hookers.
The hookers, yeah, the hookers. And,
Yeah.
they're very active.
Yes.
They're
Well, and
very
there's a
active.
whole show, isn't there? Is it at the Green Mountain Cultural Center
Yes,
anymore, or
yes.
is
No,
it
well,
up in Shelburne?
No, that was just a month or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there is, you know.
Well, there's a lot of interest in
yeah,
fabrics, and
yeah.
there's a lot of the new woolery that's
Right.
started up. People are
Right.
very
Nice.
Fabric
Yeah,
has
I
come
think-
out of the craft mode and into
Yeah,
the
I think into the art world.
into the art world and into the very functional art
Right,
world. You know, I
right,
mean,
right.
they're hats that are pieces of art. Anyway,
Well,
we
thank
won't
you
keep you
so
any
much,
longer.
Alex.
We're going to go to the video now, and hopefully people will come to the show
Yeah.
at the Valley Arts Festival through the month of December. The gallery's there. There's a lot of other wonderful artists
Oh, there are.
shown too.
I think
so
45 artists.
It's amazing.
In this area.
And there's classes and workshops, so be a part of your valley with the way the arts
Right.
forms it.
I would recommend it,
See ya.
definitely. So, okay. Click. Here's. There's probably a lot of sort of giggling in it.
No, that's okay.
Operate, and many of you are on other boards as well. So I would suggest that we stay with our Wednesday, second and fourth Wednesday of the month. That won't conflict because that's what typically executive committee has done and study committee has done. So it won't conflict with the local board meeting dates. That if we tried to do anything else, it would be a sheer nightmare, trust me, to find a night that could work for everyone unless you want to show up on a Saturday. And I don't. So that would be one thing. I would suggest that maybe from 5:30 to 6, just a half an hour, we have an executive board meeting. Because the executive board of the Washington West Supervisory Union Board